so we'll get started. There's going to be, I believe, a part one and a part two to this, just because of how long it's going to be. Um, that way, a big heads up. I'll probably drop the first one on Wednesday, then the second one maybe Thursday or Friday. I'm still debating on that one. But whenever it drops, y'all go watch both parts and see what you like, and we'll talk more. Okay? So, a couple of things. No, I won't say a couple of things. Just because I use it too often in my videos. But, so my life. I know I've dabbled little by little in my life and slowly talking about it a little bit. I don't know. It is a hard thing to talk about because of how much I've gone through. It's not embarrassing for me. It's a lot, and to really put myself out there, it is a lot. But the whole point of these videos is to really put myself out there and, let people see, what being human is like, and changing, really, and doing personal growth for yourself. So I guess that's one of the biggest things I was wanting to talk about. Sorry. Oh shit. Okay. I'm trying to fix this at the same time. Hold on. That way y'all don't just see my face. Here we go. That's better. So where do I start? We'll start from A to B, okay? A to B. So, as a child, I was a very angry kid. Okay, a very angry kid. I was a very hot-tempered kid. I think maybe it started way before that. Well, okay, we'll talk about it. So, I guess my life really started at the age of 4. And this is a very big thing to talk about to y'all guys. Just because of how impactful it was for me. At the age of 4, my mom had passed. Okay, and it was not a normal passing, like normal humans, naturally. It wasn't natural, and she had taken her own life, and it was a big thing, for my family. And I had 3 siblings, full blood siblings at the time. My sister Emily and Nate, and then me. And then my dad, of course. And my dad was working in the rigs at the time. And so after my mom had passed, my dad really had to take care of us, it was pretty hard to balance everything out because when you work in the rigs, it's like day and night kind of stuff. And so when my dad wasn't, able to take care of us, we would go to our grandparents. And there's so much to my life that it's so hard and complicated. It's not just like one reality where I could just, talk about one without having to talk about the other, And so, but my mom had passed, and a lot of stuff that was going on in my past, but one of the, I'm going to talk about the big key points in my life that brought me to where I am today, because that'll allow y'all to see not the boring things, but the things that people face. Maybe it's someone or maybe it's someone you are friends with that they know. Who knows? So if I can reach someone, I will. My mom had passed at the age of 4. She was very young. Okay, my mom had my sister at I think maybe at the age of 18. It was so long ago, it's so hard to remember. Um, and so they had us very young, and um, they never went to college, never finished high school. So I guess our life was pretty hard, and we lived in like torn up trailer house way before my mom had passed, and we were kind of living by, and I would watch, my parents, go through rough patches, and hard times, and there's things I can't change, and I don't think I would like to change them, I would like to get to know the end of, my mom, but I wouldn't change them, I believe she left me, God or whatever higher being is out there, I believe things happen for a reason. There was certain things she had to leave me that maybe if she was here, she wouldn't be able to leave it to me the same way as if she, did what she did. So to me, I love her for that. I didn't get to know my mom the way that regular children get to. I only knew what I remember, right? I also only knew what I was told. Okay. That's all I knew. I guess as I got older, well, we'll put it like this. You know what? Let me just restart this. I don't know. Should I restart it or not? Just because I'm like, there's so many parts that I need to talk about and I don't know how to talk about it all at once. So I guess I'll talk about it like this. As we grew up, my dad wanted to start his own business, and it was pretty hard because he had us. We had to go to school, and we were living in Lubbock at the time, but yet still going to Levelland schools. Okay, and it was pretty hard. So we'd wake up at 2:00 in the morning, and we would sleep in our clothes. Okay, we would sleep in our clothes so we could wake up at 2:00 in the morning and go run to like Andrews, Midland, and drop off these parts. And it wasn't traumatizing, but it was a memory for me that I kept, that was very broad for myself, because at that time I learned like a lot of responsibility and a lot of discipline. Whether I knew it or not, I was. Most kids, maybe they never even washed a dish or, washed their clothes. But for me, that was I learned lots of discipline and responsibility, because we would literally help my dad build these suction hoses in our garage, so we could deliver it in the morning. And we'd do that like for a good 2 years until my dad opened up his first company. And it was me and Oilfield, me, Emily, Autumn, and Nate. And I remember it because we were building, like not building it, but because my dad was leasing it out, it was like real run down at the time, and we'd had to like literally clean everything inside, where new tiles, buffing out the floors, painting the walls, and knocking down walls because it was a paint shop, and all sorts of stuff, and we were pretty hard, just a big key point in my life that brought me to where I am today. As I grew older, I was getting into a lot of trouble in school. And some of you may know because I went to school with with some of y'all, okay? And we were getting some crazy trouble. We were kids, And but eventually, because I was getting in so much freaking trouble, my dad kind of made me go to Lubbock schools. And well, let me tell you, you could take the kid out of, the trouble that they're finding and place them in a new area, but guess what? They are going to find the same trouble because they did not fix the way they were thinking. So that's exactly what I did. I found trouble. No matter where I went, I found trouble. Yeah, at first I was doing pretty good, and I proved to myself that I could make all A's, which it was because I was making pretty bad grades, zeros and whatnot. I didn't care to even take the STAR test. I was just bubbling whatever I wanted down. Didn't really care. Well, yes, I was a pretty rebellious child. I was pretty rebellious. as I hit high school, okay, that was like the biggest time where it really hit me, life really hit me. It was my maybe closer to the end of sophomore year and junior year. Um, that's when it really hit. Um, where I started like questioning everything. Really, because I was really becoming more aware of things that happened in my past and becoming aware of like my mom and stuff. Um, I started questioning my own self worth, and I started questioning everything, if I was like why she did that and all types of stuff. And because, my dad was a hard dad, like he was pretty hard on us, but we were pretty bad too at the same time. Um, we never really talked about it. And I was trying to look for something, you know, outside of me to figure out why, you know. And because it's a big thing, and I knew I was never gonna, like, my mom would never be there if I graduated high school. I knew my mom was never going to be there, like, when you have those talent shows or whatever, my mom was never going to be there, and it hit so hard because I wanted to be normal. I wanted to, like, have this normal childhood where I can count on my mom to tell her all my secrets, and I never had that. And that's when it really hit, was when I started becoming aware of, graduating and stuff like that. And, what if I get married when I get older, who's going to be there, And so it really hit me hard. And then I really started getting into trouble. My grades dropped very badly. And I don't know, I was just really just angry at life. And eventually I started getting into more fights at home with my dad and my stepmom. And I just got into so many fights. I was arguing and I was so angry. Eventually, and one night, I got into a fight with my dad. And we really got into it. And he sat on the couch because I told him I was just going to walk out. And I was just going to leave. I was going to leave. And he said, okay. So I was like, okay. Then I started packing my stuff. And me as a kid, I didn't have my phone, okay? I did not have my phone. I was grounded from my phone because just the other week I got grounded for sneaking out for the very first time in my whole life, okay? I got grounded from my phone, and I was just angry, and it was just like I was a ticking time bomb, because not only that, but I was an angry child. I had anger issues, and so I was a ticking time bomb, and that was the light to the match, the light, it was the fire. It was the fire. It blew me up. And so I really did pack my stuff, and I literally walked to, I don't know if I'm able to say it, okay? I walked, and I ended up having like a spare phone, okay? It was a hidden phone. I know most kids would know what I'm talking about. It was a spare phone, but it had no service. So I connected to a Wi-Fi service right next door, and I texted like my mom's side family, because I knew if I'm going through this, they would understand. They will allow me to feel these things, And so I did. I contacted my aunt, which she took me in, and I'm so thankful for her. I'm thankful for all of them, because they taught me so much, so much that I really was wanting to know. And so I ended up living with my aunt for a good while. But I would say at the very beginning, I was moving home to home to home to home, mainly at my aunt's, I would say. I was mainly at my aunt's, but every once in a while, just like, I don't know, I knew, like, my mind was so chaotic, so every once in a while I'd, like, move to another home and then move back to my aunt's. And it's just like, I knew I was looking for something more, like, more out of myself, and I just didn't know how to escape myself, And I remember so many talks from everyone, and really, I was so destructive. I burnt so many bridges, you know,